Okay, welcome to the premiere episode of Global Chat with your host, Robert Leonard Rope. Today we're pleased to be speaking with Kate, a young Ukrainian woman who escaped the Russian invasion and ensuing war in Ukraine and currently resides outside her native land. And full disclosure, Kate is one of my advanced English language students who I've had the good fortune to work with and get to know during the past year. So, Kate, welcome.
Thank you.
I think many people in the West are just pretty ignorant about Ukraine, which, when I was growing up, as I've mentioned before, was actually a part of the Soviet Union. That was before your time. So, can you please start by telling us what it was like growing up in your native country, and specifically Crimea and then Odessa, where you lived?
I wasn't growing up in Crimea. I just was born there, namely in Sevastopol. But since my 12 years old, I had been visiting the city every year, and it's still associated with summer, good weather, and careless days without any control from my parents. Crimea is very beautiful. It's famous for its views, beautiful beaches, Black Sea, mountains, etc. So I have just very sunny um, memories about these days. And nowadays, it's a big loss for me that Russia grabbed my city of birth. And talking about Odessa, there I actually grew up. It's a lively city known for its architecture, port, vibrant nightlife. And it's also famous for its theaters, so beautiful buildings, museums, also for its universities. There in Odessa, I could get a solid higher education,
Mhm.
what I'm proud of course. We Ukrainians are very close to our families. So spending time with our families is very important. So my childhood, was spending time with my family a lot. We did different activities, and still, it's very important for us. Even in our hectic life, we try to get together and spend time together at least once in a week. So we are very close to our families. It's our traditional feature.
And what is Odessa like now? Has it
Like
changed a lot? I know that Crimea is under occupation.
yeah, Odessa is under attacks every day since now. But like the nightlife is still yeah vibrant there. Maybe not like after 10 p.m., but before people are still singing, dancing, and enjoying their days. As far as I know, I don't live there, but what I can see from the news, it's still like it's our city's special feature as well. We are just like uh, people around Ukraine, they associate our city with holidays, festivals, and joy. So it's still like this because you can uh, you can take people from joy, but you can't take joy from people. It's about Odessa's people. So yeah,
It's
but of
well
course,
stated.
yeah, but nowadays it's a way to distract themselves from the uncertainty of their lives, what they will be in future. So it's not because they don't care. It's because they try to enjoy every day they have because they don't know if they have these days tomorrow. or in a week.
I know I told you that I have ancestors who lived in Ukraine in the mid 19th century in Odessa, Jewish ancestry. Is there any kind of Jewish community that's still there? I know there's a synagogue. Were you aware of it when you lived there?
No, I'm not aware. Like Odessa is also associated with a Jewish, always that, but I never met one. Like, no, I don't know. So I know that these communities exist there. I don't know how it's now during the war, but before they were there, I just wasn't informed about them. Like I wasn't interested.
Well, I hope if I get there, I'll find out more about that.
Yeah, and you will tell me, and
It's
you
still
will
there.
tell me
Yeah, and I'll
then
tell you if I
because
make
it's
it there.
yeah.
Um,
Odessa is multicultural. It's
yeah, I was going to
multicultural,
say
and
it has
yeah.
a reputation as being multi-ethnic and multicultural, dating way back as a seafaring town, as a coastal town. It's always appealed to me as some place I want to visit. Um, Kate, I know that there's been a great devastation of lives of millions of people in Ukraine. Can you please share with us some ways in which the war in Ukraine has personally affected you and your family?
Hmm. The war affected all the people in different levels, of course. My situation is that then the war started, I was abroad. So I just couldn't come back to Ukraine. No, I could actually, so I could, but I decided to stay here abroad, namely in Poland, just because of stability of my job. So I knew that in safe conditions, I will be able to work and earn money because we don't know what is waiting for us in a few months or as we see now, a few years. So it was difficult, of course, to leave my family, my friends behind, and also mm, I miss my culture, I miss my language, I miss my people, everything I got used to for my life, and it's like the difficult part for me also. mm, Being abroad brings an mm, uncertainty in our future of my country and my
Uncertainty.
and my future, because I'm still a stranger here. I'm a refugee. I have no idea where I will be living in near future or in few years, because like in Ukraine, I have my own property, and here I have to pay the half of my salary for renting, and but also Poland gave us safety. This what is important, really
Yes.
important in such
Yeah.
a situation. Yes, so it's the gain that I'm abroad, and also I have learned a lot of different things, new things. I met new people. I learned new language, adapted to a different culture. I think it's a gain for me. Of course, I didn't suppose to receive it in this way. So if I'd like, I could just move without any words. But yeah, if I have this experience living abroad for a long time, I use it as I can. I learn new things, find opportunities, personal and professional for me.
You have, sorry, you have family and friends. Some of them are still in Ukraine.
Yeah, my friends are in Ukraine. Some of them, it's their choice because, of course, they can leave Ukraine for a while for being abroad, but it's their choice. I support them. And thank God my family is with me nowadays, but it wasn't like at the beginning of the war. And it was I think it was the difficultest mm, period in my life when they were there and they couldn't come or
Understandable.
didn't want to
Yeah.
come, like due to many reasons. So now they're with me and it's very important. I still have my grandparents there, but again, it's their choice to stay there and it's choice of many people to stay there.
Can you explain? I think a lot of people here don't understand the issue about men leaving or not leaving. So men of a certain age are not legally allowed to leave the country. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. Like men from 18 till 60 for now, yeah, this category of men can't leave country. So if even they want to leave it, if they even work abroad, like sailors or drivers, they can't leave. Um, some people, some men have this right. It depends on the number of children in their family. Also, some categories like singers.
Oh, if they get special permission,
Huh?
if they get special permission to leave the country.
Yeah. As far as I know, I don't know how it's now because it's changing every day. It's
Oh,
changing. So I don't know how it's now, but before, yeah, these people could leave Ukraine, but they had to come back to Ukraine in in some time. Like it depends on if they go for their concerts. Concerts they last for few weeks, for
mhm,
example,
mhm.
so they could uh,
I
come to.
understand that. I understand some men have escaped uh, through the mountains or rivers or whatever they tried, and some have actually died trying to do that. Do you know much about that?
I don't know much about that, but in use every day we see attempts of people to leave country because people decided for themselves that they don't want to fight for country, they don't want to um, die for countries, they want to live in another country. Like they are not militaries, they don't know how to fight even, and what they want just to live, and they have their families, they have their goals, they have their dreams, and they take such a decision to cross the borders illegally, and they do, and some of them succeed, but not that much. Many people are really dying or in prison then.
It's a difficult situation for us to watch from afar.
It's a difficult situation because men feel imprisoned in Ukraine, imprisoned because in other countries, like European countries, it's not the same. People who devoted their life to military, they go to fight, and people are not in prison.
Yeah,
It's their choice, and for Ukrainian men, there are no choice.
during the war, during wartime.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's
Um,
okay.
I want to ask you something that I found out about you pretty quickly, and it surprised me a bit. I understand you sometimes tutor students remotely in speaking Russian. Like most Ukrainians, you're bilingual in Russian and Ukrainian. Uh,
Mhm.
Personally, I studied Russian in high school and college, but I speak it very poorly, just enough to get me in trouble. How do you feel about Russia versus the Russian language? I know we've discussed this a little bit between ourselves.
Mhm.
Is there
Yeah.
is there ambivalence about it, or are you able to firmly put them into categories and say this is the language, this is the country. How do you determine that in your own head?
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that the Russian language doesn't belong to Russia. It's the most important, um, I think.
That's a good point.
Uh, yeah, but many Ukrainians see the Russian language as part of Russian effort to control Ukraine. Historically, Russia tried to reduce the use of Ukrainian language, and nowadays promoting Ukrainian is a way to stand up against against Russia and Russian influence. As for me, I support this approach so that I also try to promote Ukrainian language, creating content in my social medias and also consuming information like news, videos in Ukrainian language.
Mm.
But even with all this, Russian is still my mother tongue. I feel and I think in Russian. So I don't want anyone to take away my right to speak the language I feel. I express my love to my beloved ones at home. At least at home, I have this right to speak this language. But yeah, if we're talking about promoting Ukrainian nowadays during the war, it's very important. It's very important. So we have to balance. We have to balance.
At the
It's
beginning
very
of the war, sorry, at the beginning of the war, Putin claimed that the Ukrainian government was oppressing Russian speakers, Russian speaking people, and was also Nazis or full of Nazis. What did you make of that when he said that, when they put that propaganda out?
It would be very funny if it wouldn't be that sad because I'm a Russian speaker, Russian speaking Ukrainian who have been speaking Russian for all my life. I know Ukrainian perfectly, of course. It's like our official language. And I got my education in Ukrainian, but I speak Russian and I never, ever felt suppressed because of language. Never. I live in Odessa, and Odessa is, like we said before, multicultural city. Different languages are there. People are coming from Caucasian mountains. They speak Armenian, Azerbaijanian, and Georgian languages without any problem. They talk to each other, different language, like Turkish people come to us, Indian students come to us, they speak Indian, Hindi among them. It's not a problem. So that it was never a problem for people to speak Ukrainian or Russian. And there were many situations then people addressed to us in Ukrainian, and we uh, replied in Russian, and we understood each other pretty good, pretty good. It was just comfortable for us to express our opinion faster in the language we think.
So that was a propaganda pretext, like
Of
saying that
course,
the
absolutely.
Jewish Zelensky-led government was Nazis.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And people
Believe
did
me,
that.
I'm a Russian speaker, so never I
Oh.
felt surprised. I will tell you even the opposite situation, which I'm not proud of, and it's shame on us. But the majority of people, I can't say about other cities, but in Odessa, we thought that if a person is speaking Ukrainian, they are from village or something. They have not enough education. Why they don't speak Russian? So, in opposite, the Ukrainian language was suppressed, and it's shame on us because what we have now, it's it could be because of our attitude to Ukrainian speakers.
Well, it's complicated, but thank you for explaining that as to us who are ignorant about it. I want to ask you about another language, and that is English.
Hmm.
There are so many different paths and methods to acquiring a new language, and so many reasons. Can you tell us about your personal journey with English and eventually becoming part of Engine and then meeting me?
I've been studying English for all my life, and I see that it's continuous and endless process. I will be learning it in future for all my life because still a lot of things to know, to remember, to study. I started maybe then I was 4 years old. My dad tried to learn it with me. Then at school, it was just common English lessons, nothing special. We learned there. I think I had a good base there. And then at university, I studied English as well, but mostly professional vocabulary and correspondence. And then I just forgot English because I didn't use it. It's the most important thing to practice language every day. Every day you have to read, to watch, or to talk, to write in English. Only then you will start thinking in English and formulate your opinion and express your thoughts. So it's very important. And unfortunately, then I didn't understand it. I just stopped using English. At my work, it was just some letters in English,
Mhm.
nothing special. So that in a few years, then I changed my company. I started learning English almost from a scratch. Not almost, I thought I had a good level, but in practice, it wasn't that good. People around me, like my colleagues, they knew it better. And English is the most important language in marine business, for which I devoted 7 years of my life. So I had to learn it and to improve, especially speaking, because it was the hardest part for me to start speaking. And yeah, I tried different things. I tried to visit speaking clubs. I tried to. I had personal like teacher with whom we were talking for 2 years maybe. Then I visited online speaking clubs in English and Spanish. Also, it helped me a lot during the COVID. And then again, the war started. I had to learn Polish, not improving English. Also, I started forgetting English, especially speaking part of it, conversational English. Yeah, it's difficult. So then I read the post on LinkedIn of one girl who said that she found a friend at this engine program. She said, like, we became very good friends. She's awesome. We are going to meet, etc., etc. And I'm like, wow, I also want a friend. Meet your friend. Yeah, I also want to meet and this. Yeah, I was inspired first, not by language, but by this like story about she was so excited that she found a friend, and I was thinking, oh, I also want to find a friend. So I registered there. Yeah, and there I met you, and we became friends. So I don't know when we are
We
going
did
to meet
become
with
friends,
you.
but I was always afraid you got stuck with me
Why?
with a boring Michigan accent
Oh
and
no, it's clear
old
accent.
enough
It's
to
a
be your
clear
father.
accent.
But
Most.
anyway, I feel very fortunate. They told us when I did the little bit of training, they said you never know, you might end up becoming close friends with people and it might change your life. And I thought, what are you talking about? I'm just teaching English. And then I met you and other students as well. And it did change my life. It was very odd. but I don't ever feel like I'm teaching you. I just feel like you're, I'm giving you the opportunity to use your English, which is excellent. And, if you have little key questions to sort of tweak your English, but it's pretty easy for me and it's enjoyable. And I hope it's enjoyable for you. But
Yeah,
thank you for
yeah.
that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for
Uh,
that. But with you,
thank you
I
for
feel
that.
more comfortable to talk. I mean, I feel more confident. I see how it changed my approach to speaking in English in other situations like job interviews or with friends. Like I make friends from abroad, but usually I'm texting to them. We are texting to each other, and always when they were talking about voice calls or something, I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't want. I just like I had a lot of excuses to not to talk to them, but now I feel comfortable to talk.
Well, you're amazing and your English is amazing. So lucky me to find you.
Oh, no, lucky
Um,
me. Lucky me.
so can you talk a little bit about some of your goals for the future, short term and long term, whatever you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah, for sure. As I told you before, I'm uncertain about my future. I don't know the place that I'm going to live, which language I have to learn for that, what steps I have to do for that. So nowadays, I'm mostly focused on my career. It lets me be distracted from the uncertainty about my future because I believe if I have strong skills and good job, everything is possible. So I aim to advance in my career by gaining new skills, taking on challenging projects, and seeking opportunities to develop. So nowadays, already know that I'm looking for a job in the data science field, and I do everything for it. I'm studying nowadays with mentors, so you know it's about me because like career now it's on the first place for me because I'm already in safe, so my family is in safe, so we have to live, continue living, and having a job, I will have more opportunities to donate money to Ukraine as I used to do when I was working before.
You told me that you have a passion for numbers
Mm-hmm.
and math, which I didn't know when I first met you. And then you said I had mentioned in my little bio that I also like math, but unfortunately, the math that I like isn't quite up to par with the math that you love so much. What is it about statistics? Statistics kills a lot of people at a university level. They're like, I can't pass it. I don't want to have to deal with statistics. And you welcome it, you embrace it. What about statistics do you find so amazing and appealing?
Oh, numbers and statistics, yeah, is my one love because data's like especially numbers, they can tell a lot of interesting stories which are not obvious from the first sight. Statistics help me understand and interpret the world in the meaningful way. I love data science because it uses data to reveal patterns, trends, and insights that you can see like immediately. Working with numbers also allows me to solve complex problems, make informed decisions, and uncover different situations, hidden connections. So that's why this I have this interest because numbers can tell more than something else than text, and especially in our hectic life when we have no time to and a lot of information and we don't have time to analyze all this information, these beautiful graphs, charts, and infographs, they help us to grab information faster, because 80% of information we grasp by eyes. So it's like the way to simplify our methods of grasping information, useful information. And thanks God, people like statisticians, they do it for us. But we have to be very, very attentive, because statistics is an instrument for manipulating. That's why, yeah, that's why if we're talking about the necessity of critical thinking of nowadays people in the age of information and technologies, I have to say that every person has to know like basis of statistics, like mean, mode, mediana, these average values, which they have to know how they calculate, because depending on the calculation, like the method of calculation can have different effects. So it's very important to know. And many other things, how to read charts correctly, because they are all
can be manipulated.
Yeah, not to be manipulated. Yeah, I have read a very interesting, like the American book about how to manipulate with statistics, and it's just awesome, because before I couldn't realize how much numbers can be subjective, because I got used that numbers are objective. It's one of the reasons why I love them. It's just number. Yeah, you can't say that it's many or not. It's like just the number, like 4, 100. So you just see the number and the connections with this number. But in real life, numbers are not that much objective. So we have to be attentive.
I have a question that maybe is really old-fashioned. Is it unusual for a woman such as yourself to be that interested in mathematics and in a professional way? I know you told me you have a mentor that's also a woman. Is it unusual? Are you in the minority, or are women fully integrated into the field now?
I don't know. I think it's 50-50, but for all my life, I thought that math is mostly for women, not for men.
Oh,
So
interesting.
now you're asking me if it's unusual. For me, it's very common. It's very common. Like I think in IT field, it's a bit uncommon. No, nowadays it's not uncommon for girls to work in IT field. But talking about data science, I think it's just a balance between programming and math, which fits the best for women. It's my opinion. Actually, I don't know about the population in the data science field. I see mostly men. You are right. I see mostly men. I mean, on LinkedIn, if I see data scientist, it's a man. But data analysts are women. I think nowadays we can't say that it's something uncommon for women. What something exists and uncommon for women, especially when we're talking about Ukraine. There, I can't feel sexism or something like this.
Well, there's been a lot of progress, and it's a great thing and offers you opportunities appropriately. Well, finally, the war in Ukraine seems very remote to most people in the West, even me. Please share something that you'd like people in the West to know about or to understand better.
I want people in the West understand better, maybe that the phenomenon of Russian language in Ukraine is more difficult than it seems to be. Like it's not just about knowing language, knowing how to speak. It's deeper, because of the very complicated history of Soviet Union, people movements. among countries of Soviet Union. I wanted the people from the West knew maybe they have prejudices that we are Ukraine, just a country in the war, and they probably don't know much about our country. I want them to know that we have a very diverse culture, and people in Ukraine are mm, they are resourceful, they are creative. We have vibrant culture, innovative tech industries, beautiful landscapes, strong sense of community. So we all have these. We are resilient, as you can see. We are resilient, and we deeply love our traditions. Also, it's very important, and uh, we have this commitment to building a better future. We like then Ukraine became independent. It's our aim to build a better future in our country because it's a beautiful country with amazing people. I love people the most. And people in the West might think that Ukraine is a poor country because of our salaries and level of living. But if you are educated, and in Ukraine, people mostly well educated, and you make effort, you will have good job, your property, chances to traveling abroad. So everything. Like in Ukraine, I had everything. I had everything. It's here in Poland. I don't have my own flat. I I don't know what's waiting for me tomorrow, but in Ukraine, I had this um, certainty in my tomorrow day, and Ukrainians are grateful for each day. They finding joy in any opportunities and achievements. So I want people in the West knew this.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because our perception of Ukraine is based so much on the war reporting and not on the stories of the lives of everyday people, people like yourself, special people, the tremendous resources that the country has had and will have in the future that it holds, promise for the future. So thank you, Kate. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure for me. Thank you.
And please tune in to future episodes of Global Chat on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. All right. Have a great day and take care.